Hey everybody, my name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker from the Netherlands, and here at Chronoglide we love to restore vintage watches. Well, good for you. Who cares? I hear you think, and maybe you're right, but with this one example I would like to show you why this is the reason we get out of bed in the morning. Because this Hamilton was sent to us by a client from Washington State, and it is not flashy, it's not huge, it hasn't got a see-through case back, but this is so beautiful, really is. The outside again unassuming, but when we finished the restoration with a new crystal, in a moment I'll show you the dial. It is beautiful, it is beautiful. And then the inside, maybe a personal statement, just my opinion, a Hamilton like this beats a Rolex any day of the week, and that's because the inside. But then again, that's just my humble opinion. You can even find this in a thrift shop. Even if you ask the generation above me, well, I'm 51. Do you have watches? There is a good chance in a chest of drawers or in a hidden case with jewelry. There are some vintage watches, because you don't throw away a vintage watch that easily. You keep it. It's a thing of beauty and a special value, because these weren't that cheap. What are you looking at, and why is this so beautiful? You already see so many parts in there. It is a beautiful design, and in a moment I'll show you through a microscope there a bit more about the inside. The movement should be in any watch the star of the show. If you have a Ferrari exterior and it's got a moped engine, bang bang bang, it is, even for Ferrari sports cars, anything, the engine is the star of the show, and there's a beautiful design around it. Same here. This was really a nice watch, and worn, I'm sure, lovingly. Well, I will show you under the microscope why this is, for us, such a beauty and a joy to work on. Die click, plop, there we go. Because it is a movement with automatic winding here, but this is a microrotor because it's in the movement, not on top. On top is a bit more effective because there's a larger swing, so you need less heavy material, because here you can see it is really heavy. But I'll show you the design of this watch, and it is really the star of the show, the movement on the inside. It's the Hamilton, and that's developed with, I think, Buren, Zenith and Baume & and this is the American version because it had 17 jewels. Here you see the red dots, those are rubies, very hard material, so a good bearing. Diamond is the hardest material, hardness 10, and ruby hardness 9. But there was an import, not ban, but rule. So the amount of rubies inside a movement were limited. And so the American versions, all here, has got metal bearings. I'll show you the beauty of the microrotor. Because it is such a logical movement. The layout is so well done. As you probably know, at least 200 years nothing has changed in watchmaking. The basic, the logic. For 200 years it's a main barrel, 4 wheels, an escapement and a balance wheel. Every single mechanical watch, and there is even a case for the quartz movement, because that's a large part mechanical as well. So for 200 years every single watch is a main barrel, 4 wheels, an escapement and a balance wheel. Cheers. That's why we as independent watchmakers can work on any watch, even if we've never seen the brand. The logic is every single time the same. So we see a part, we know its function, so well, it has to be there because we know the function of each part. So that's why we can work on every single movement and repair it back to, well, perfection, beauty. Back to perfection, as you can see here, it is so modular. Here the balance wheel, here the gear train, here the main barrel, here the hand winding, and here the automatic winding. It's all modular. Everything's got their own place. So you can service it. Simple as that. That is the whole reason why it isn't stacked and like that. It's a nice plane. They took their space. There was some space. So it is serviceable and we can restore it back to perfection. And Daryl, we will. Here. Balance wheel. There, the 4 wheels, escapement there in the middle. And here, this is the beauty of the microrotor. And this is the genius of simplicity. Call it like that. Here is the microrotor. And it is inside the movement, not on top. So it's way thinner. That's why it is called the Thin-o-matic. Not microrotor, and I personally think that Hamilton promotion team could do a bit better than this, because it is so understated and the inside is beautiful. Beautiful and special. Because here the microrotor, with the movement of the wrist, the weight will find the lowest point. But by doing that, it can go that way and it can go that way. But the main barrel can only be wound in one direction. And this again, the genius of simplicity. Look at this. In the Swiss movements, this is a ruby. Well, all of these are ruby. And if you move the microrotor, this is a wheel, and it is just laying between these plates. The plates are just enough that it can move, but not move like that. And it's simple. It is engaging in one wheel if it goes one way, and it will engage in another wheel if it goes the other way. That is genius, because it can go wrong. There are not many parts that can go wrong or break, or the only trick is to leave this dry so it can slide more freely. You don't have to lubricate it because it has to go to one side and then to the other side. There is no friction of real power. You really don't want the friction. So this part over here is just a microrotor from there to there. And here is the main barrel, and just with well, a piece of packwood, but I use a plastic. We see that this is the root cause why the watch isn't running anymore. And what you're looking at is simple a hole by where it was bigger, and now you can see this moving. So we have to reduce the hole size. We call it hammer time. We've got a video on our YouTube channel Chronoglide, and then we can leave everything original, but then reduce the play, because there is a lot of play. One bit of this movement that is a bit tricky is because everything is in one plane, the power has to come from one side to another side, and it is here the winding bit, manual winding. There's the crown, has got this small gear train, and there is usually too much play so the wheels can wiggle. And after that it's just a main barrel, 4 wheels, an escapement and a balance wheel. You can see the Inca block shock system, shock protection, and that is simple. The balance wheel goes back and forth. Should go back and forth. There. And just like the front wheel of your bicycle, it's got 2 pivots. And because it goes back and forth so smoothly, the pivots must be as small as possible, because isochronism, it moves freely. So if there's a bang before 1948, the pivots will break. And now with this simple Inca block, commonly used after 1948, the small pivot is protected, so it's a shock protection. The outside isn't yelling, here I am, look at me, I am a micro, oh yeah, here the huge, we are trying to polish it out and then re-gild the movement, because there's some, it was gilded and there is some wear and tear. There it is. Well, these are the beautiful watches. Oh, the dial, I promised the dial. It isn't real guilloche, but you see all the scratches here in the plastic, in the acrylic crystal. If that is beautiful, and we've got these crystals here in the workshop, there you can see the sunburst in the middle, and then there that grit under the indexes. Once that is cleaned up and finished, if you play with the light, you got a beautiful radiation. But if you play with light, you got a beautiful reflection of that sunburst. We are going to see if the hands can be restored, and it is going to be a stunning watch. Even if the outside isn't is unassuming, when you wear it, you know the inside is top-notch and so beautiful. That is really something special. I really do hope you enjoyed the inside of this beautiful Hamilton, and if you need more information about vintage watches, please have a look at our YouTube channel Chronoglide. There are at least 500 videos about watchmaking. Hope to see you soon. See ya. Bye bye.